Mr. Shipman's class, Mr. Shipman's class. Mr. Shipman's class, Mr. Shipman's class. Mr. Shipman's class, Mr. Shipman's class. Mr. Shipman's class, Mr. Shipman's class.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to Mr. Shipman's class. It's been a long while since we've been here, and I'll tell you, there's so much to talk about. There's been so much happening in the world. But first and foremost, let me introduce my lovely and talented wife, Mrs. Shipman. How are you today?
I am very good, Dr. Shipman.
And let me introduce a special guest we got first time in Mr. Shipman's class. He's been the editor of the audio, but this is the first time he gets to step up and be actually in Mr. Shipman's class. Mr. Khalil Shipman, welcome.
Yay!
Thank you very much.
All right, folks, we got an interesting show. You're dealing with two educators and a college student, so we're going to tell you how it's been for us to go through this whole
COVID-19 world is what I call it. So, COVID-19 world, as a parent, because me and Mr. Shipman, or Dr. Shipman, we're parents. Between us, we have 5 children.
Yes, we do.
Ranging from age 27 or 26 is our oldest.
27.
27 to our baby who's sitting here with us, 19, soon to be 20. So we do not have the K-12 kids, and you would think that would make it easier, but I've not found it to be any easier. However, this year, Dr. Shipman is an elementary school teacher.
Yeah.
He has the pleasure of teaching 5th graders, and I'm still trumping it out with the 8th graders. So, today we're going to talk about what this experience has been like as a teacher, as a parent, and as a student. Dr. Shipman,
Yes,
we're going
ma'am.
to let Khalil go first, or would you like to defer to later?
Sure, I can go first. That's no problem.
As a college student, Khalil, what did you, in March of 2020, everything was going fine. In fact, Khalil is a student at St. John's University, correct?
Yes.
In New York. And he was a student living in a dormitory, correct?
I was, yeah.
And you were on spring break, weren't you?
I had just come off spring break. Every other college student I knew was just going to spring break or was about to or was just on it when they found out that they couldn't come back to their dorms.
So all of your possessions were trapped in the dorm?
They were for a little bit. They were for about 6 weeks.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah. While they emailed us and told us that some dorms would be used to shelter people for the COVID-19 epidemic.
They used the dorms?
They did. Not my personal dorm, but other dorms that were actually on campus. Mine was right off campus.
Okay,
Good
then.
positioning that year. But yeah, they told us that before they told us when we'd be able to come back and retrieve our goods, our items, our belongings.
So you were trapped. So March 13 hit, and just like everybody else, you went from trudging into class every day to, you're an online student now, whether you like it or not. How did you adjust? Let's go with it that way.
So the first thing I did was write my Wi-Fi password on my laptop. That was the first thing I had to do, was just make sure that was consistent and make sure that when I moved out, I moved in with my mom, who's a teacher in New York public schools. So we were both going to be kind of on video calls and doing things. And then my stepdad is a telecom. He works in he's a telecoms engineer. So all 3 of us were on video calls. And I had my 4-year-old brother, who's 5 now, but he was 4 then. And it was an adjustment. I don't know. I kind of had to know exactly what I was doing, like at one time, like what I had to do for that day right at the beginning of the day, to make sure that I could like eke out the time.
Oh, you had to learn some time management. I never even thought about that. With college age kids, without the structure of be in class from this time to this time, they really had another time management thing. And I know because Khalil, and then we had our next two who were also in college. Yeah. We had BJ, who is 20, and Zaire, who is 21. They both came back into the house as college students. And you're right, I never even thought about it. That was one of the things we would look at and go, are they ever going to go to class? Right. I mean, we would like be looking at them, and like all day long they would be like outside at the fire pit chilling, and we would go, are you going to class? And they'd be like, oh yeah.
It's different because you just get into K through 12. You're literally just sat down for 8 hours, and then we got a couple years of quote unquote freedom in college in terms of scheduling, and then they sit you right back at home with the pandemic, and you're like, oh, cool. So I'm not going anywhere at all, and you're like, and I still need to figure this out. Cool. All right. So. Yeah.
Or there were times here when all three of us would be on at the same time. Zaire was doing music lessons.
Yeah, playing the
piano. And we had to close our doors and try to drown him out. So the Wi-Fi was at its max at that time.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It's Wi-Fi, but then the pandemic, and I guess epidemic turned into pandemic, makes you completely refit your physical space as well. Because I was starting the pandemic in New York. I was in these like tight spaces, so there was barely anywhere that I could go without even hearing another video call, like without it being background noise and echoes on two different video calls.
Yeah.
So it was like you learned when you need to shut doors, when you need to say, hey, I need 30 minutes to an hour to just be alone.
I remember Zaire would be at the piano, and just to give you a layout of the house we're in, we have somewhat an open concept, somewhat. The living room has two sections, and Zaire would be at the piano in the living room. Well, it opens directly up with no doors to the kitchen. His piano lesson was at the exact same time as me and Dr. Shipman's lunch. And so we'd be like trying to eat quietly in the kitchen while he's playing piano.
Yeah. Or not trying to come across the screen when he's doing a video call.
Right.
So that was always the challenge. I think for you and I, it's been, we upgraded our Wi-Fi twice. Since this all started.
Since March, we've gone through 2 routers and 2 different sets of servers.
Right.
I think that probably, when I look at it as a teacher, I understand that we had to get ourselves and the kids and their parents and everybody involved to safety. And I got it. It was sudden. We had to move fast. And I'm glad they did. I'm very glad. And I think that parents understand a little bit more about the educational structure and how education works now. Parents who would say things to us like, well, Bobby has attention deficit, kind of got that, well, we know he has attention deficit, but he still has to do his work because they became the primary educator and we were the secondary educator in a lot of ways. And so I think they got that, but it was very, very hard, Dr. Shipman. I really have struggled. I mean, I'm glad I'm safe. I'm glad the kids are safe. I'm glad you and everybody else is safe. But I miss my classroom. I miss teaching in the normal traditional setting. I've said this a lot. I did not sign on to be an online teacher. I've always known I would not be a great online teacher. And I think I'm doing okay. I think I'm hanging on, but I miss my classroom. I miss my coworkers. I miss my students. I miss my hallways. I miss our cafeteria. I never thought I would say I miss school lunchroom, that downtime in the middle of the day where it's loud and kids get to do their thing and we get to laugh together. But I miss it.
I do miss a lot of things. But I give my alma maters the credit. Tuskegee and Clark, Atlanta. I know my other two, like, hey, how about us? Yeah, Hampton and West Georgia, you did great too. But I give these two credit because they trained me to say, be able to accommodate and assimilate and keep it moving. Almost like a military thing. I just have gotten to a point where I know where we at. I don't like it. I wish we were back in school, but I'm okay. I make the best out of the situation. I get in front of those kids every day, those fifth graders, and I'm smiling, and I'm happy. We playing music, we dancing, we doing chair exercises. I send them all a book. Hey, I'm just gonna make the best out of it. And yeah, it's a lot of hard days, and it's hard, because it's so many people are pushing you to make what we do in regular school, and I keep saying it's not regular school. Stop trying.
Nope.
And it drives me crazy. I think that's the thing that drives me more crazy than anything. This is not regular school. Stop trying to do it. Stop trying to say, well, if we just do this or do that, it'll work. No, it won't.
I love the fact that your particular county, no names involved, actually expect you to do group work. I am always floored. They want you to do breakout groups with fifth graders where you send fifth graders into private chat rooms and they're supposed to motivate themselves enough to keep the lesson going. I mean,
believe it or not, they expect us to do group work as well.
And can you, in college, how's that working out?
No. Oh my gosh. Imagine you don't even have one time of day where somebody is awake or somebody is online.
Wow.
It's horrible. Trying to get a group of 19 or 20 somethings to get together for like a set block of like 1 hour, and it's not even 1 hour, it's more than 2 hours or whatever it takes to actually get the project done.
Well, they're expecting fifth graders to do it. That's 10, so
that makes no sense.
None. And in Mice County, I will say it, they keep asking us about RTI and IEPs. Well, I've had to say, you know what? I don't know what the kid can or cannot do. He ain't showed up. We've been in school, 8 months now? No, 4 months, 5 months, whatever. And I literally have a student today is the second day he's come to class.
Oh boy.
Twice. And he came in, he sent me a message in the chat. How can I get my makeup work? At that point, I chose not to respond. He came the first day of school and today, and he wants all his makeup work. I'm not to tell him you're not going to get it. I just like, no, I'm not even going to do that today.
You got to send that in a zip file. Like, that's a huge amount of stuff.
Even if he got it, I'm not going to grade it. I'm not going back to August and grading that work.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know it probably has something to do with the deficiency I sent home that said he has a 6 average. But I'm like, I'm sorry, kid. This semester is 2 weeks from being over. You can't make it up. You better just jump in right now.
I think one of the problems that I'm seeing with this new school year, we ended last school year where a lot of people just say, okay, don't fail anybody.
Yep.
Pass them. So once they got out into the general public, okay, they started the new school year this year, like, they're not going to fail us. We just, so it don't matter. But a lot of the school systems are like, yeah, it does matter. It really does count. You really are going to get a grade. But we're having problems with the parents taking it serious, the kids taking it serious. And everybody just think, well, just let them make it up to work. Just pass them. But the teachers are having so much pressure put on them, again, to make this real school, and to make it as real as possible.
I can't speak directly to a parent's perspective, but while I was in New York, I was like, we kind of, having 3 legal adults in the house, it was fun to somewhat like help raise my little brother. Like, I would be teaching him, or I would be going to the laptop that he got from the county, and just like reading the lesson plans that they had, and it would be he was in kindergarten, and it was like lesson plans for every 30 minutes of the day. Like we were supposed to like somehow parents don't work and are supposed to be able to be at home from 8:30 to 5 with their kids, completely attentive every 30 minutes, switching up to a different activity.
I actually have a coworker who she's having the weirdest year. She gave birth during COVID. She had just had a baby. She was on maternity, so she has a newborn. And then she had 4-year-olds, twin 4-year-olds. And then she had a 5th grader and an 8th grader, all at the same time. And so the year ended. She was on maternity for most of the year. Well, we started back. So now she has a newborn, 2 kindergartners, a 6th grader, and a 9th grader. And I said, how are you doing it? And she says, I sit on one side of the table with the baby at my feet. Everybody, all of her other kids are lined up across the kitchen table across from, and she says, and I run it military style. Wow. I dare anybody, because she's also teaching. Mm-hmm. Through all of this, with 5 kids there, she's teaching, and she was like, and I'm just about evil with my kids. She was like, the 9th grader really quickly adjusted. Mm-hmm. The 6th grader is struggling, and the kindergartner, she said at least once a day, they both have a major meltdown, where she has to turn her mic on mute while they go to the back to cry it out, because it's just what she said. She was like, she's almost like, as a teacher, having to contact these other teachers going, whoa, calm that down. You know he's 5. I need you to calm it down. He's 5. He's by himself.
Yeah.
He can't do this, like you said, transition every 30 minutes on his own. He can't.
Yeah.
He just can't.
Like, it's so tough because that's their first, supposed to be their first experience with school. And it's like, that's where you learn to do that. That's exactly where they teach you.
Right.
Okay, in 30 minutes, we're going to do this. So get ready. Like,
they can't.
It's so difficult having to actually seeing what you all do and doing like half of the work at home. Because you're like, okay. Yeah. How do I keep this kid in line? Like, I was not trained for this like you were.
Because that even happened with me today. It's like, I took all this time yesterday to make plans. Well, the lesson plans are done. Then you take those plans and you put them online in your virtual classroom, so the students can see what they're doing for the day. Or if somebody don't show up, they can always go there and do the work. So I made all these elaborate plans for math, and then we got stuck on doing this science, and it took up all our time. And before you know it, it was time to go, and the kids were like, we're going to do math today? No.
Just go, baby. And that's the thing. Do you ever find yourself at the end of the day? I hate giving homework. We've been given pretty much a mandate that we have to give homework. Mm-hmm. But I hate giving it. Mm-hmm. I literally say at the end of the day, turn the computer off, go find a video. I'm like telling kids, go play a video game. Go outside, run, play, ride a bicycle. Go mess with your big brother and sister.
Go live life.
Yes, because I'm like, get away from this computer and don't come back until you have to, because I'm going, oh my goodness, I'm so tired. So I walk in the evenings in the neighborhood. I'm safe. I'm socially distanced from everybody. It's just me by myself most of the time. And I get so excited when I see kids. And I've always walked. Even before the pandemic, I walked. And I'm so excited now in the evenings when I walk and I see kids on their bicycles. Kids, I see sidewalk chalk. They're playing hopscotch. They're playing. And I would say, kind of want to end it on something positive. Mm-hmm. If there's one positive I've seen, when I ride past parks now, I see parents out there, the kids on swings, much more than I ever saw before. Mm-hmm. Kids are on swings, they're running. I see now parents have put basketball goals back up. You ride through the neighborhood, you got to slow down because kids are out playing. Mm-hmm. I think one of the things that being trapped on a computer all day, inside all day, it has made it like we had a garden this spring. Yep. It has made it
full blast garden.
It has made it so real, the need to step outside the house and appreciate away from screens. TV screens, computer screens, even cell phone screens. You kind of get to the point where you're like, I don't even want to look at it anymore. So I see that as one positive. Do y'all have any positive outcomes from this? Maybe.
I think one of the positive things I've seen and make you appreciate life more.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen, I think, okay, we said positive, but I had to talk about it. I've seen so many people die of this. And every time that you hear that someone dies, the first thing you want to say, what did they die of? So
Yeah.
one of the things, I know we said we're going to end this on a positive note, but I want to pay respect to all those special educators or just school personnel that have died. There are so many people who have died, and I think the scariest thing, what has happened to me is it makes me appreciate life more. It makes me appreciate seeing my coworkers or just being in touch with them whenever I see them. Because whenever you hear that someone's sick or whenever you hear that someone died, the first thing you come to mind is did they die of COVID?
Right.
So I think I really appreciate life so much more. Every day I'm thanking God for letting me be here. I pray for my family. You all the time. They put a hedge of protection around you all at all times when you in and out the house. So that's the one positive that I take for this. It makes me really appreciate just life.
That's good. You guys did good job for you guys.
The young man, nothing positive you can see, and it's okay if it is, and it's a real thing. It's kind of hard.
I started playing RPGs during the pandemic.
What's RPGs?
RPGs are role-playing games.
Oh, okay.
Not rocket propelled grenades.
I didn't know what it was. So you've learned a new skill.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. See, improvisation.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, you know?
Okay. Well, I will say this. I firmly believe, I am faithful in, this is just a blip on the screen. We will look back at a later date and go, we're tougher than we know, we're stronger than we believed, and we got through it.
Yes, we will.
And I think that the children who are young, like your little brother, and the children who are older, like you, young adults, are going to look back at it and go, wow, you're going to have a story to tell your grandkids. And when they complain about, man, we have to do so-and-so for school, you're going to go, boy, back in 2020, let me tell you what really happened. And you're going to have one of those stories that they're going to be like, y'all stayed at home for a whole year? So, hey, you got great-grandpa stories. It's going to take you a couple of years to get to it, but you got great-grandpa stories.
Yeah, you do.
All right, Dr. Shipman, if anybody is interested, where can they find more about you, your stories, and our lives?
Let me tell you. Go to www.terrenceshipman.com. That's TERANCESHIPMAN.com. We have a ton of sales going on right now. Make sure you check us out also on Facebook. I have Facebook groups, Real PTA, Teen Shipman, and of course, just look me up on terrenceshipman.com, LinkedIn, and Instagram. I'm on there. We get hits on Instagram all the time. This season of December celebrations is something special about it. People just look at it now. It's funny how people see one of the advertisements we're running now has me dressed in a black Santa Claus. And people like, a black Santa Claus. They are like really loving it. But this year, I have to say this, the first day of school, it blew us out the water. The sales on the Mr. Shipman's Kindergarten Chronicles, the first day of school, have been awesome.
And you can find that at...
Tell them, Cleo.
TerrenceShipman.com.
That's right.
One more time, TerrenceShipman.com. You
Thank
spell
you.
it TerranceShipman.com. One more time, that's TerrenceShipman.com. TerrenceShipman.com. Find our books, find our merchandise, find our blogs. Thank you very much, and we'll see you again at
Mr. Shipman's class.
Woo!
Bye.
Mr. Shipman's class, Mr. Shipman's class. Mr. Shipman's class, Mr. Shipman's class. Mr. Shipman's class, Mr. Shipman's class.